Hi guys, so I'm gonna read Action Comics number 15. This is a Zatara story. So I haven't read Zatara in a long time. But Zatara, the Master Magician and the Ice Menace by Fred Gardenier. The harbor is overflowing! Help! Soon the entire city of New York is panic stricken. The water is still rising! Help! The end of the world! Another flood! And at this moment Zatara steps in from his hotel. Am I in New York or Venice? Is this really water? Me go wadding, master. Good fun. I think I'll see the police commissioner about this. Zatara and Tong glide safely over the waters, to the amazement of the populace. At the police commissioner's, the entire city is now flooded, and it's still rising. Zatara, I was never so glad to see you, but whatever you were doing, floating around in the air 50 stories above the ground. Keeping dry, at this rate, the Atlantic Ocean is rising. It may not be high enough. You're right, no one knows what the trouble is, and even the President of the United States is worried. Something must be done. What have the newspapers got to say? At that moment, in the offices of the Daily Press, the Atlantic has gone mad. Having risen already 15 feet, it shows no intention of stopping. If this continues, all of New York will be a lost city. Horrible, horrible! And the people in the streets are even more frightened. Panic is the king in the great metropolis of the Western world. The President of the United States receives reports. That's Franklin Roosevelt. We shall do all we can. We have sent planes to bring all relief provisions possible. The entire Navy is steaming from New York Harbor, sir. My friends, I have no need to tell you just how serious the matter is. What the cause of the catastrophe may be we do not know, nor may we ever know. Meanwhile, we must keep the courage of our citizens as high as possible. Back in New York, you sent for me, Commissioner? I did, Zatara. This is Editor Gordon of the press. Thought you two might be able to ferret out the cause of all this horror. I'd only be too eager to help if I can. Perhaps you can. There's a meeting of army officials and scientists at the Hotel Colin at 3. Suppose we get it over there at once. At the Hotel Colin. Ah, Gordon, gentlemen, the editor of the press, he is a resourceful man. Perhaps he can be of help. Gentlemen, I present Zatara, Master Magician, who may help us by his uncanny powers, where our own science fails. A shameless faker! I'll have nothing to do with him. Brains must succeed here, not drivel. Not so fast, my good fellow. Aga jijin. So, I think that's gibberish again. The hapless scientist is close to drowning. Why, it's impossible! Marvelous! You mean I vote for Zatara? The tumult cease. All vote to hear Zatara. Gentlemen, I am no mere charlatan. What I have shown you is a triumph of inner self over your wills. The yogi and the lamas of India and Tibet have somewhat perfected this technique. Let me demonstrate. I have thought of how this sudden deluge has been caused. You know there are millions of tons of ice and icebergs at the North Pole and in the Arctic regions. Watch. Against Zatara gestures. Icebergs floating as they have done for ages. Now suppose sudden heat were turned on them. So this is global, so this is like climate change, basically. Like an early version, so that's weird. So this story predicted climate change. It is very interesting. The icebergs Zatara have caused a pier to start to melt. The water grows as the icebergs melt. This is what is happening to New York and the entire Atlantic seaboard. Egad, young man, I'm proud to know that you have a brain indeed. Why, I could not have thought of that. Thank you, sir. Perhaps you could suggest the name of a man bold and smart enough to scheme the deluge New York? I give you the roving commission, Zatara, to get this Burr Henner and stop his mad plans. And I, Harold Staffen, Sen, or Harold Staffordson, will give my poor aid. Gentlemen, I thank you. Later, Burr Herner has a place at one time on Long Island near Montauk. I think I'll pay him a visit. Zatara's powerful car races into the dark night in search of Burr Henner. Master, we hear those lights, me scared. It's a form of St. Elmo's fire that appears on the ship's rigging at sea. Tongue, let's proceed on foot. Oh, master, this fence hurts. The fence is charged with electricity. That confirms my suspicions of Burr Henner. Now to bring the house to us. Gorgo Halaf! Long runners appear beneath the gloomy house, and the house slides towards the magician. Now I'll put my theory to the proof. Me not want to burn myself any more wires, master. They sting too much. No one has lived here for some time. Let's go upstairs. This is what I have been looking for. Come on, Tong. This is what I wanted. Master, look! Tong unknowingly touches the strange machine. Master, oh help! This is the machine that does the trick, Tong. Or else one just like it generates terrific heat in the space of a few moments. Perhaps Stephenson would know. Zatara acts with the speed of light. Hey, who are you? What? It is the spirit image of Zatara who appears before you. Come with me and fear not. You will become light as a feather, and I'll blow you out to Montauk. Zatara blows Stephenson through the cold night. Okay, that's weird. You were correct, Zatara. Bernharder has used a modification of the ultra stasis ray and caused an instantaneous heat ray to result marvelous. Would such a ray melt icebergs? Icebergs, why, man, this ray will melt steel itself. That's all I want to know. Home, Herald. Why did I dream that Zatara found that ray machine? Oh, I must have I? But it was not a dream. I must touch this machine to establish psychic contact with Burl Henner in order to locate his present whereabouts. The figure image of Zatara is drawn further and further north. Burl Henner is in that cabin. I can feel it. Inside the cabin, the water which has been deluging the Atlantic coast has temporarily come to a standstill. The people of America are breathing freely again. The mystery has to date remained unexplained. All efforts are being made for the relief of the stricken thousands. It is time I delivered my ultimatum. Zatara overhears the daring ultimatum of the crazed genius. All nations on the Atlantic coast in America and in Europe must deposit $1 million to the order of John Doe at once, or all their coastal cities will be destroyed. So others hear the same message. Mysterious message out of nowhere, ordering Uncle Sam to deposit 1 million berries to order, or the madmen will flood the nation. What? The flood was caused by human hands, then? In an extraordinary session of Congress. Steps must be taken, gentlemen. We have received a wireless message. In London. Your Majesty, a wireless message has been received concerning the recent rise of the Atlantic. Let me read it to you. And in Paris. It is crazy. $1 million. Oui. But back in the cabin, a little taste of my machine here, and the ice weeps futile tears. I hoped you give a demonstration. It is not on the radius yet. Not quite. A little more elevation. As Bernharder pushes the lever, the machine crackles and hums. Soon that iceberg in the far ocean will. The distant icebergs melt so fast, it seems like a geyser of water. Back in Montauk, Ktong, I have just seen a madman blow an iceberg into thousands of gallons of water. If he is not stopped by us, he'll flood all Europe and America. Me smack him good, master, but how will we start? As a snow eagle you shall bear me, as a paper in your claws. Steady north wind. You shall come to earth in the island north of Greenland. Far, far to the north soars the snow eagle. A rare snow eagle! I must have him. But under the strong influence of Zatara, the hunter is helpless. Well, Fur, the eagle finally lands at its destination. Me, Cold Master. Has goes Joth. That will keep you warm, I think. Now we'll get Bernhurner. Oh shit. But swift as Zatara has been, the waters of the Atlantic has risen steadily. I tell you, you must give this man the $1,000,000. Do you understand? The billions of dollars worth of property is being wrecked by your pig-headedness. Zatara at last reaches the lonely cabin. He must be on the ice floes. Hear no one within. He is engaged in the delivery of his Etherim tongue. The insane scientist and Zatara meet the ice floes. Strangers on my island! Must blast them into eternity before they get too close. Bernharder adjusts the heat ray machine for its deadly work. Jusa Hafka! Icebergs all around me, crowding me in. I'll die. They're coming for me, vengeance. Help me! Help! The very icebergs seem to speak to the crazed man. We have come for you. It is your punishment for all eternity for trying to tamper with the laws of nature. Come within my coldness. Here you shall dwell forever and think over your misdeeds. Bernharder is encased living in a block of ice. Here in the ocean, let this machine of Hades rest in a just and fitting grave. Thus perished the great genius with a warped brain, Lath Zindo. Once again, back in New York City, a medal from the government and the $1,000,000, which was to be paid to Burner, is your reward. I knew you'd do it, Zatara. So the end. So that's the end of that comic. I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you could like, comment, or subscribe, that'd be appreciated. Thank you, and I'll see you guys later.